Hello, everybody. I am just posting a little video because it has been a second since I have. And I'm about to post our next class in written form, as I always do. We'll kind of create a little event. It'll be next week, June 8th, Thursday. But I thought I would do a video because I've just been thinking a lot about how we receive information. And for me, when there's a lot of words, when there's a long email or a long text or something like this, I have a very difficult time reading. I'm sure I've talked about this in one of our classes. For me, it's much easier to receive information if I'm listening to somebody, if I'm seeing them talk, right? I'm very visual, I'm very audio, right? This is an easier way for me than reading. So I thought what I would do is just kind of tell you about the class as well. So if you're like me and don't want to read the paragraphs that I wrote about what the class is going to be like, then you'll get hip to what we're going to do next week and see if you want to come. So I'm going to read you a little bit of what I'll be posting soon. So the class is going to be on cultivating compassion. The reason why I've chosen to do this is I've been looking at a lot of the classes that I teach, right? So I'm teaching about trauma and addiction, teaching about the brain and pain, teaching about how, are there ways to rewire for different outcomes if someone is in a cycle or a perpetuation of a certain belief system, right? Like what's being done now, research-wise, study-wise, and what do we know about the brain and what can we do about it from a bottom-up practice in particular, since that's what I do, right? But we could do it in life too, in any way. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. So anyway, we're going to do cultivating compassion. I'm going to read a little bit here, and then I will post it after. Okay, so our next class will focus on compassion and what holistic methods we can use to awaken, cultivate, and/or deepen our compassion for self and others. The opposite of compassion is often indifference. Though for some, the opposite stance may manifest itself differently, it may devolve into a lack of empathy, anger, and even hatred. In extreme cases, one's inability to have compassion may result in what only can be classified as war against oneself or war against another. There is another possibility too, one's belief that they themselves are compassionate, but that others are not. Being self-aware when we see ourselves as superior to others can pose a challenge. But when we are open to the possibility of it, we are more likely to be able to heal that part of ourselves. I experience humility as something alive that is continually beckoning, constantly asking to be felt and heard. Right. So one of the main parts of this class is going to be really looking at ourselves, right? In what way am I, and I can do it and not even realize it. I mean, I've been working on myself in this capacity for a long time. So I'm very, very aware when I start to have thoughts and feelings about others and self. The trick is, can I then also make a change, a positive change, and do it differently? But oftentimes I think the really difficult thing is when we think of compassion is some people say, yeah, I'm really compassionate. I'm in a field where I take care of others. I'm of service to others. I'm good at it. That's something that I got, check. But in actuality, if we really, really look at it, like how clean is that, right? Is there any piece that in feeling that you are a compassionate being that you think someone else is not? And it's a very tricky thing to isolate down and to feel into. But if you can feel into that and are aware of the fact that you yourself think you have something and someone else does not, is what puts you in the place that we want to clean out, that we want to polish, that we want to gut and and help nurture a different perspective. So we'll be looking at humility then in that case, right? We'll be looking at compassion. How do we cultivate compassion? what methods and exercises we could do. We do these all the time, right? Taoist exercises, reflexology, energy work, mudras, right? Like all of the things that we always do that I always bring to the classes. We're going to bring them to this class too, with the hope that we can awaken and nurture our compassion. There's more words on this page. I don't think I have to read any more. You get the gist of what the class is going to be like, right? The only other thing I'll say that I write here at the end is that we're going to hopefully awaken to the fact that we have work to do, right? And for me, I find this extremely enjoyable. I love that I have work to do on myself. Like that work, that's a good word for me. Like I have work to do on myself. And I go on to say, I am now someone who experiences joy, laughter, and even gratitude when I become aware of the places in me that are childish, angry, fearful, or stunted. I now think, oh, good. I get to grow from this. I get to put the work into myself, to look at myself and see what needs calming, polishing, gutting, and nurturing. So I'm really excited to bring this class to you for next week. Mark your calendars, June 8th, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, we'll gather together and then I'll post it afterwards. Our classes never go over an hour. I think that's our limit. So it'll be somewhere between a half hour to an hour. And I hope to see you there. Much love and light. Have a beautiful day, afternoon, evening, and I will see you soon. Take care.